Hi, Wasteland TV fans. We are here with...
Richard Bates Jr.
And what do you...
We made a short film called Excision that is playing at, 8 festivals in October, this October, 8 horror film festivals.
So what's the story of this film?
It's about a girl in high school with a younger sister who has cystic fibrosis, and she tries to perform a lung transplant on her in their basement when their parents are out to dinner.
Kind of Frankensteinian.
More or less, it's kind of like a mother-daughter bonding movie. You'd have to, I guess, see it to get that.
Get the whole gist. I kind of picture the whole Frankenstein switching one part around for another.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
So what is your influence of horror movies that chose you to become a horror movie fan?
I would say Clive Barker and David Cronenberg.
For which films?
I would say the original Hellraiser, Dead Ringers, Videodrome, all those.
All movies I haven't seen.
They're great though. Even Lord of Illusions, which is flawed, but there's so many brilliant ideas in it. So.
I never saw that one either. I feel kind of left out. Talking with Brink Stevens, I knew a lot of hers. I know Vernon Wells' filmography, and when you name these, I'm going, wow, I barely touched Cronenberg's work.
Well, I love Cronenberg's. What's your favorite Cronenberg?
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter, my dad actually took me to see John Carpenter's Vampires in the theater. My mom really doesn't. When I was back in high school, my dad and I used to go see a horror movie almost every Friday in the theater. So.
Yeah, my dad used to watch him on Bob Wilkins here locally in San Francisco. And I preferred Captain Cosmic because I'm more into sci-fi.
Right. Well, I love sci-fi too, man. I absolutely love it. But horror was my thing with my father, and kind of rep my family and make my movies.
I would only make it out because they kind of creep me out. Only when Godzilla showed up on the screen.
That'll do it.
Godzilla, it's
that'll do it.
You know, him squashing little people.
No, that'll fucking do it, right?
But what would you say is your one main favorite movie of all time that you've seen? If you had to choose one. It's almost like the end of the time machine where he chooses what one book would you have to take with you if you had to travel back in time.
I really don't think I could do that.
Oh, that's tough, huh?
I don't feel comfortable even answering that question.
Oh, okay. You afraid to God? You just say my movie was your favorite?
No, it's not like that at all. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. That's like asking me what my favorite comic I read or books.
Right.
You know, there's so many of them.
I don't know.
You know, unless you've had a limited amount of reading.
I like a lot of them. I like a whole lot of them.
What about sci-fi? Would you say there's any of those one particular?
Wow. Well, actually, I was a big Star Trek fan growing up.
Which one?
Well, my favorite is Wrath of Khan, to be honest.
Yeah.
With you.
The remake of Moby Dick.
More or less, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I love that film. I even like the first one, which.
The motion picture?
Yeah. I think it's a little underrated. I think it's.
Well, technically, if you think about it, it gave us the floor plan for Next Generation.
And honestly, you asked me, you bring up Next Generation. I love First Contact so much.
Because the hybrid zombie slash sci-fi film.
I think the director of First Contact was
Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes.
William Riker.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was just so in tune with everything about that series, and I think he just nailed it with that movie. And I think he did a fine job with Insurrection, even though it sort of seemed to be dismissed by critics and everything.
Well, another good movie of his, which is people don't know he did, was Clock Stoppers.
Oh, I did not know he directed that.
He did that one.
The teen movie, right?
Yeah. With Nicholas Brandis, his brother from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as the lead.
Isn't that kid in Bring It On also?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
And now we're in the backyard where I'm at, jousting about movies and actors.
Let's just hang out. What's happening, man?
But so what would you say is your one favorite area you've been to date, showing your film?
Well, we just got here today. My film actually doesn't show until Sunday at 4:55. But we got nominated for Best Mini Short Horror Film and Best Actress.
For which one?
Excision. It's called Excision.
No. What award?
Best Mini Short Horror Film.
You know, like there's the Sundance, and
minutes.
What is the name of the award, like the Oscars and the Emmys?
Out here, it's actually just called Best Mini Short Horror Film.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but this is our first. We have 8 more festivals in October. We're going to horror film festivals.
So is the competition pretty steep for it?
It seems to be that way, but the response has been very good. We're nominated so far at I guess, various festivals for cinematography, best screenplay, best director, best actress.
Have you seen any of the other competition today?
I haven't, so I'm incredibly excited to see it. But it's really not like that because we're just a bunch of weirdos who love movies and want to tell some fun
With it
stories.
too.
So
Weirdos are the best ones to tell the genre sometimes.
And it's a very subversive genre. I think you can really get a lot of things across that you can't in. Like I was reading this great book called The Monster Show about horror films and about how they're very in tune with popular culture. Like the vampire films, became reinvented with the AIDS, and all these things. I think they're very in tune to popular culture, and it's a very subversive way of speaking to an audience.
What the thing that I found interesting about horror, going back to the vampire, is that you notice that each 10 years. The monsters change. First, there was a big werewolf in the 80s when you had the Howling.
Absolutely.
A slew of werewolf. Then when Lost Boys came out, you had the slew of vampire, and then it ended with Buffy, and then it became the zombie genre again.
Right. Well, with Buffy, it became more poppy, and I certainly try and stay in touch as much as I can with pop culture, music, and all that stuff. And I think the goal is to make a movie people will see that has something to say. And I certainly tried to do that as best I could with my film, Excision. And I just think it's a very underrated genre in a lot of ways.
Do you think it's underrated because of what people have changed?
I think it's underrated because
it went from horror to slasher, and they're kind of blurred together.
See, I love slasher films in a very different way, though. Actually, I love them. I think you can say a lot in a picture, and there are horror films that are just pure, carnality and violence, and there's something to be said for that when it's artfully done. But there are also horror films with something to say and subversively and
reinforce what the pseudo-intellectual think is bad.
Exactly, and I think certainly when I mention like an artist like David Cronenberg,
like with his history of violence,
that's
what I've seen.
I think they make films that speak to. It's hard to find a place for that film, and I hope my film falls in the same category where it's not necessarily a horror film, it's not necessarily a drama, it's not where do you show this film at a horror festival? And I love horror films, and I'm so happy to be here. So that's.
So what would you say before we sign off to people who want to make horror films?
I would honestly say, speak completely from your heart, love it, show some, be creative with your violence, make your blood beautiful, make your, have something to say, all right? It's not a silly schlock genre like certain people would try and make it, or certain critics try and make it. Speak from your heart, just like any other filmmaker.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And thank you for this. Yeah, I hope you like the movie.
If I get a chance, I'll swing out to see it.
Hopefully to see it. It's Sunday. Love for you to see it, man. Sunday at 4:55.